Hi, class. I wanted to talk a little bit about the project that's due on Sunday before spring break and just make sure you understood what was going on there. Let's see here. So, under Module 2, under the project here, the first thing is the project, okay, is in Blackboard, and you can start working on the project and save your work before you submit it. So you don't have to do it all in one sitting, okay? But what I wanted to show you is the work you're going to do is on a data set that's actually in MyLab Stats. So the first thing you're going to do here is just open up this link here and open this question 1. And then you can click on this link to the data set. All right, so this is the data set that you're going to use to do the project. And so it's got vehicle number, type, weight, average MPG, and all that. So you can use all the things that we've been doing up here on this data, okay? So you want to open that up. This question here, it's not graded. You don't have to answer that. Really, you just open up this link to get to the data, okay? All right, so let's go back to Blackboard and look at the project. All right, so we're going to continue working on it. All right, so read through this, okay? This describes the project. You're going to open up that link there, okay? And it says, you know, government agency wants to investigate the nation's automobiles, all right? So you're the person that is going to describe the data. That's what Chapter 2 is about, right? It's about describing data, all right? So this first question, for example, says, you know, they came to you for help understanding the data. Understanding the data. All right? So you're going to describe the mileage data in the sample. All right? You're going to describe the mileage data in the sample. All right? So let's look at that data again. All right, so that is the average MPG, right? The mileage data, like how much gas mileage do I get? All right? All right, so you're going to be looking at this data here. And then it says, as a data analyst, you're given the task to describe the mileage data in the sample. Using StatCrunch, thoroughly explore the average MPG data using the descriptive statistics you learned in Module 2. All right, you don't have to find the outliers, but what are the statistics we looked at in Chapter 2? It says here, include more than just calculating the average, right? Well, that's one statistic, but we looked at many more statistics in Chapter 2. So what statistics did we look at in 2.3? What are the statistics that we looked at in 2.4? Okay, so do your best. You don't necessarily have to list all of them, but at least the ones that come to mind in Chapter 2. It says, you know, write a statement to answer the question on that's here. One researcher asked you specifically to give him an idea of the gas mileage of a typical car and how much the vehicle's gas mileage tend to vary from one another. Write a statement to answer this after listing the descriptive statistics, all right? So do your best to analyze this column of data. Where is that? This is the column of data that question deals with. What are the statistics that I can calculate from this data to answer that question, okay? And then the second one has to do with finding outliers. There is a specific method in Module 2, Lesson 5, to find outliers. So go ahead and do your work on that column of data, all right, to find if there's any outliers. Question 3 and 4 are reviewing Chapter 1. And I do find that students, for whatever reason, don't remember what we did in Chapter 1. And this comes back up on the final, right? So make sure you review those things about the type of data and level of measurement, okay? All right, so now it says build a histogram, right? This is what we did in 2.1. Make sure you know how to build that. And then you can look, is it skewed? Is it skewed left, right, or uniform? How are you going to do that, right? Well, you're going to use StatCrunch here, and you're going to build a, pick the column of data that you want and build a histogram with it, all right? And this is a review from what you did in 2.1. All right. Again, outliers. Another histogram. Okay, now this is going to be in 2.5, right? The percent of engines between these two data points here, right? These two boundaries, all right? What percent of the engine are between here? Okay. So all of this is applying what you learned, okay? All of this is an exercise. Oops. All of this is an exercise to apply what you learned in Chapter 2. Okay, it's one thing to work through homework problems, but it's another thing to kind of get the whole picture of what you're doing so you really understand what you've been studying. And that's the idea. So I just wanted to kind of review that with you. And if you have any questions, now you can use this this discussion to ask each other, for help on how you proceed forward, or you can write me, and I'll be happy to do that too. So, anyway, so on Sunday night you have this project due and your Module 2 test. I do the project first. Make sure you understand how to do that, and then do the test.